Do it.
I think.
Should we do some more eye gazing before we start?
We're going to eye
Felt
gaze.
pretty
That'll
good.
be really good. I think it'll be good for you and me, but for the audience,
They
it'll
may not
be pretty
yeah.
boring. I don't know if they're going to get weirded out through
They may.
the audio,
I
but
think
here on camera.
the goal is to always weird out the audience.
Yeah.
You want to take them on a ride.
That's my own internal compass at play. Yeah. It's like, how uncomfortable can I make the other person?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how uncomfortable can I be? How
Yeah.
far can I push myself
Yeah.
outside of my comfort zone?
Well, there's that too. Yeah. Pretty far. I still hit the edge. Do you hit the edge?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your most recent edge that you hit for discomfort?
Gosh.
Talking about it may not be easy.
It is hard, you know. It's it would be in the realm of relationships, discussing past sexual partners with the girl that I'm with now, whom she's been, you know, potentially a mutual friend with, and it's always a tricky conversation, you know.
Yeah.
You got to be real graceful.
Yeah. I find that with there's a lot of people who tune in this show are really into health and fitness and personal development, but there's always an area of discomfort. I remember I went and talked to I went to Spartan World Championships and spoke. I was like, all right, you're really good at running yourself and being uncomfortable running or maybe dealing with cold water, but what other areas are uncomfortable? Because there's areas in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, I've got this discomfort thing completely nailed down, and then something that I haven't developed myself in as far, and that just becomes difficult.
Something hits you.
Yeah.
That childhood wound that you thought you healed and you had control over. All of a sudden, that 4-year-old boy resurfaces, and you don't even know it. Like you have no idea until it's too late.
I had one of those last week.
Did you?
Last week.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've done the work. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm coaching other people. I'm training other people on this stuff.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I was like, why does it feel like this inside of my body?
Yeah.
This is scary.
And we're under the illusion that everything has to be perfect. Like, no, I've dealt with this. I can deal with this now. I'm dealing with it. And then it's this lack of vulnerability and, you know, really just getting it out there, airing it, telling people what you're really up against versus holding it in and not talking about it. And that leads to more self-sabotage and whatnot as well.
Yeah. So I want to know about you.
Yeah.
And that when I think about Drew Canole, is like you're really in shape.
Thank you.
You run a really successful business. You're popular.
Well, I'm not too popular.
You're popular. Are people mad at you?
Are you
people, unpopular?
People, you know, it's. I was reading this quote this morning, and it's the man in the arena, and it's the one that is always ridiculed. Like the bigger you get, the more people are against you, the more naysayers you have. And if you look at history, I mean, even the greatest archetypes on the planet, they've always faced adversity. And the bigger we get as human beings, the larger we grow, the harder it is. You know, the more people you're going to have throwing stones at you. And it's okay. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, so that sounds like, okay, you're playing a bigger game. You're stepping into bigger roles. So there's going to be more disagreement, or some people are going to be upset with you, or they're going to project something onto you and then create some type of story. And I think a step beyond that is have you had moments where you go, okay, I am now going to follow what my heart is telling me what to do.
Yes.
Which means I'm going to make this really big pivot in my life, and I know it's not going to be popular. Mm-hmm. I know that it's going to upset some people. Yeah. Have you had that? Where you consciously go, okay, I'm going to choose this path. I know that.
Where it would be a lot easier choosing the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is going to be a lot harder. It's going to require an arduous amount of work, no matter what it is. And then you go down that path because that's the one that liberates your soul. That's the one that sets you on fire, where you feel like you come to life, springboarding out of bed. And luckily, I've made a lot of those decisions in my life at an early age to where it's set me up to where I am today.
It's like you're used to it, too.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Yeah.
You get used to aligning versus hustling and grinding. Yeah. And always checking in with yourself. Your inner self, not the self that the external world gives the validation to. What's your way of coping with other people's judgment? So one thing that I practice always is this universal law of oneness. And you can trace it back to the Kybalion and the Emerald Tablets. You know, we can go down the mystery, wagon. But I believe we're all one. And if somebody's judging me, it's just they're judging an element or an aspect of who they are. And they've forgotten who they are. So now they're judging me because I'm showing them a fractal of who they really are in this consciousness. And it's painful to them because they haven't realized it or awakened to the fact that it's already within inside of them. So it's never about me. It's always about.
I mean, that's
them.
an easy way to intellectualize it.
Yeah, it is.
That's I hold a similar frame. Like, oh, someone's mad at me. Okay, but then there's the reality of that
it hurts.
That hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. Humanly, it hurts.
Yeah,
it definitely hurts. And I would be lying if I said that it doesn't trigger me sometimes. There's things like, especially betrayal. Like for me, that being tortured as a child and neglected and abandoned and betrayed by my own parents, I got this 4-year-old little boy that just wants to be loved by everybody. And if I love you for 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, and then all of a sudden you change who you are in the context of my relationship to you, and now you're betraying me because you see me differently. Maybe I have more money than the last time I saw you, which is a good motivator for a lot of people, and you want some of that. And then you become this different person that's out to get part of whatever I'm creating. That's hurtful because I've invested in you.
Yeah.
I've really helped you grow. I've had many deep conversations with you, and then all of a sudden it's like now you're this different person because you see, and it hurts.
Yeah, so
that really hurts.
Is that betrayal? Like, do you think that other people are doing that intentionally, or is that your own internal dialogue? Is that what you're talking about?
I think it's more about them, like what we were talking about. It's about them holding on to an expectation of what they think their world should look like, and then not getting that result. So now all of a sudden there's discord.
Yeah.
And it's projected into our.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah. I've had that happen recently where I've done it both ways.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides
Likewise.
of it in the last week where I go, I'm on the phone with a family member and I'm not doing or saying the things they want to hear.
Yeah.
And they're getting really upset with me and hang up on me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then on the other side is I find myself being in a relationship and going, I wish this person was being different.
Yeah.
And realizing, like, that's so silly. Like,
yeah.
That's not love. Love would be accepting them exactly
Totally
the way they
cool.
are and what's happening.
Yeah.
And not wishing that they were being different with me or with anything going on.
Well, I'm glad you and I still have our shoes and socks on, and we haven't ascended yet. Because if we could see everybody like that in our lives, we wouldn't even be in this meat suit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on it. I had this really I had this moment back in February. I was going in every winter I get into this really deep internal state, and then
which is great.
Break out in the spring. I don't know if you're like following this whole calendar thing,
the cycles, the moons.
All
about it.
I think people are falling into it.
Yeah.
Sometimes whether they're conscious of it or they go deep with it or not.
Ancestral.
Yeah, that's a thing. But I went to sleep one night and I had this dream that I died and I woke up. Or I died and came back several times over it. Every time I came back in my dream, I was more aware that I was in a dream.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. So I die, I come back, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, this is actually all these things I thought were important really aren't important. And so I would say 30 deaths. 30 deaths in a single dream. And each time I came back, it just got weirder and weirder and weirder.
Dude, I had something so similar to that. So it got weirder and weirder.
I wake up, and in the middle of the night, this is in the middle of one of the retreats I'm hosting. So I'm helping people work through a lot of their emotional trauma, and then I'm going through my own process.
Yeah.
While this is all going on, this was actually one of the first nights, and I wake up sweating. My whole body's drenched in sweat.
Shamanic death.
Yeah. And I freak out for a minute. And I go, oh, shit. am I going to become enlightened?
Oh my God.
I go, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
The illusion is fun. The
Yeah.
game is fun. Because I had been reading this guy, and who will remain nameless, and he was talking about, it's like neither here nor there to be enlightened.
Yeah.
But you may not want it. Type of thing. Because then all stories,
Yeah.
you see the illusion, so it's kind of like not as exciting anymore.
Yeah. And then the question is what if I've already had that?
Yeah.
And now I've just shown the vacation vibration of living in this 3D reality without all the responsibility of what enlightenment looks like.
Yeah.
I had a similar dream though.
I
was a light being. I was a light in my light body, right? And I was traveling, and I was tracking my HRV, which is exciting. I love this stuff.
In your dream? Or?
No. In real life, right? 2 parts to this story. Yeah, I was tracking in my dream. They're really intense. I was tracking my HRV. I was sweating. No. Yeah, so for about a month at 5 a.m., right, just before waking up, my HRV would skyrocket. I'm talking 100 points, like, and I'm like, subconscious, show me what's going on here. I feel like my beard's getting in the way. Can you still, is my audio still good?
You're great.
Cool.
I don't think your beard is blocking the audio.
All right. So.
Look, beard problems are real.
I know, dude. You inspire me with your beard every time I see you.
Oh, thank you.
And so here we are. We're like, I'm telling my subconscious before I go to bed, wake me up or show me why my HRV is skyrocketing. So 4:59, like 52 seconds, I wake up. And I see this bright light in the room, in the bedroom, right?
You're awake or in a dream?
I'm awake.
Okay.
Good question. Am I awake right now? I don't know.
Fuck.
So I see this white light, and then I'm like, that's interesting. Like, I thought maybe a being was in the room healing my body, but I talked to a Toltec master that I've been working with for like 10 years, and he said, once you understand that your body's ability to navigate in a lucid realm, which I'm a lucid dreamer, I dream lucid all the time, your 4th gate opens up, which Carlos Castaneda talks about your 4th gate as well in many of his teachings. And your 4th gate is heart access, which is where now you have the ability to go out and heal other people in dream space. Right now you're a floating light being helping other people. And I've had many dreams where I'm projecting prana, life energy, chi through my hands and my heart at other people. And they're like, yeah, I'm on planet Earth and freaking different planets. Like, this is all in dream time, right? And I'm like, all right, like, let's heal you. I'm in this dream. I'm sending all this energy at you and going around like for days and days and years and years and years. And the wizard that I work with says that one night is equivalent to a month here on the earth in the time, like dream sequence. So you can learn.
I do some lucid dreaming as well, but I don't have anyone coaching me on this.
Yeah.
So this is all news to me.
Yeah, I don't, and he doesn't really coach me in the physical. It's all showing me stuff in dream time.
All right, all right.
So it's crazy, dude.
We need to have more talks about the dreams.
Yeah.
We'll do it here.
So it's insane. So I'm learning all this stuff in dream time. And my 4th gate, I'm returning to my body because it's your double. That white light is actually my light body returning. And it's the brightest light I've ever seen in my life. It's the energetic aspect of this biology that you see in front of you right now.
Yeah.
And we all have it.
Yeah.
And when we lose our 5 senses, the more and more we tap into that light body, which has an unlimited amount of skills, access, anything that you could think up. It's beyond your most wild imagination. And I think people that are really tapped in, being artists, movie makers, producers, like, you're seeing the work that they're able to do because they're accessing something that's greater than what is.
Yeah.
That you see with your 5 senses.
What do you tell somebody who goes, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about? I'm in the conversation.
I know you know.
Yeah, I'm in the conversation of the energetic body, and you have the emotional body and the mental body, and there's all these things, and there's things we can't see, touch, and feel, and that are not not commonly accepted. But then when you start, these are things that I find for me can only be validated through my own experience.
Yeah.
And then compare to other people's experience and go, oh wow, that was something similar. But as far as like scientific stuff, a lot of people they hear that and they go, I don't know what he's talking about. What do you
Yeah.
say to people like that?
I try not to convince them.
Yeah.
You know, don't throw pearls at swine, like that kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be that harsh, but the people that need to hear it, the people that are really listening, will hear it.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm concerned about.
Got it.
I may be the craziest person they've ever heard. They may be completely turned off. And I try not to force anything on anybody.
Yeah.
Like, it may not work for 99% of the population, but maybe there's one person that's listening to this and they're like, whoa, like, this is an interesting thing I've never heard before. Or it opens up Pandora's box and a whole world that they wouldn't have had access to. And that's the person that I'm talking to.
So you're a hockey player from Michigan.
Basically, yeah. I didn't play much hockey, but definitely from Michigan. And I watched a lot of Red Wings growing up.
Okay. But like, you're like that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You did play hockey at one point.
A little. I dabbled with it a little bit.
Okay.
I went to a really
I was about to say,
small.
I could have sworn that
I went
you
to a
said you
tiny
played hockey
school.
at some point. So
No,
yeah.
there was less than 1,000 kids, or 1,000 people in my hometown.
Yeah.
We had one stoplight growing up. And when I left and went to college and came back, there was one McDonald's. It was like our only restaurant.
Yeah. I like to point this out because I get the feedback sometimes. It's like, must be nice living out on the West Coast and and people assume like, oh, you grew up here and everything's been really easy for you and now life is like this. I mean, you transformed your life in a really major way.
Had to.
And so what would you say? And we talked a bit about that transformation in previous shows, but I'm wondering what was your first step? And I know before we talked about some of your first steps in personal development was through business and sales.
Yeah.
But the average person listening, they go, okay, I'm hearing Drew talk about light body and lucid dreaming, and like, what's the first step in that direction? You know, if someone goes, I want to know what that's like.
Yeah, and they're doing it. So the person that's listening to this, the first step for me was getting my body honed in, like losing 40 pounds. I was lazy. I was lethargic. I was very much in my ego. I didn't really have a lot of purpose and passion for my life.
All right, so you said you're really in your ego. Yeah. If you're in your ego, what does that mean?
Thinking with my 5 senses, the body, right?
Yeah.
I was very much controlled by emotional body. I wasn't in the control of the realm of thoughts. I wasn't in control with the realm of metaphysical thoughts or thinking. It was very much, I would even say, my limbic brain. Very fight or flight.
You were an
very
animal.
Reactive. I was an animal. I was a big dumb monkey, you know, and I was
domesticated animal.
Yeah, domesticated
living in
animal, basically. Yeah, I was going out every weekend, partying, raging. I was a womanizer, right? You know, there's been a lot of things that I have been.
Yeah. How old are you now?
38.
38.
Yeah.
Got a year on me.
Do I got a year on you?
1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the day?
February 8th.
February 8th.
1981.
Okay.
Double Aquarius, Aries moon. Any other questions?
Keep going. Keep going. By the way, guys, if you're that's actually great questions if you're trying to pick up on a girl. They love to talk about that.
Yeah, astrology.
Yeah, it's like
especially where you live. Like that's all everybody talks about.
Yeah, that's super easy.
I'm
so.
just in every.
I learned enough astrology to go on dates.
Yeah, yeah. That's all you need.
All right, so somebody's making their first. They go,
Yeah.
this is all interesting. What are there resources? Are there?
Yeah. So one thing I got into heavily at a really young age was really starting to understand the science of thought. So, and most of the successful people that I know, I've asked them, you know, have you read any books like Wallace Wattles' Science of Getting Rich, Think and Grow Rich, metaphysically, like these laws, you know, the 7 laws of the universe, the Emerald Tablets, like looking at all that. That was actually science back then, you know, thousands of years ago, that could help you create or manifest, materialize, whatever you want to call it, in this realm. So applying that to my life at a really young age. I mean, I was probably 15, 16 when I started on that train, sitting in my Isuzu pickup truck in Cadillac, Michigan, just visualizing that I was driving this Cadillac Escalade or whatever the hot car was in Michigan, because I didn't have access to the cars that we see out here on the West Coast. And that's what I knew to be an abundant car. And I was just feeling the emotions, feeling the thoughts, visualizing it. I would, invest in fancy dinners in Cadillac when I didn't have the money, just to put myself in that state. So I was all about putting myself in the state of one day being that into which I've materialized, farther than anything I could ever imagine, and it still continues to go.
That's counterintuitive for most people.
Yeah.
But that's why you're different than most people, is because you're doing the thing that other people aren't doing and thinking in different ways. What the advice that I've interviewed a lot of different people, and it's like one way or the other. There's the advice of like, take the linear path, save up money, save, and then make smart investments and this and that, and you'll be okay. And then there's the other side of the coin, which is what you're suggesting, which is take some risks, or perceived risks. I'll say that. Be courageous, make big changes without there being a lot of, like, people looking from the outside might go, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. You don't have the money for that. Why would you do that? What do you think caused you to, I mean, so you're reading these books, you're getting this knowledge, you go, okay, I'm going to try this out. What most people, they hear this advice and go, I can't do it. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. What do you tell someone who's terrified? I see this happen with coaches a lot. I mean, I see it as a trickle-down effect in the fitness industry a lot. You have people who are afraid to hire a coach because it feels like, $200, $300, $400 a month seems like a big investment.
Yeah.
And then the fitness coach, wants to spend, thousands of dollars on coaching, but they're afraid to do it. And so it's like there's this big loop of fear around taking big steps in financial investments. What do you think about that?
I think it's, and I know that fear is there. And I just talked to an individual who had these questions about creating money and having success. And it's in our DNA. It's subconsciously stored in our body.
Yeah.
I had grandparents that went through the Great Depression. I had parents. My dad's a truck driver, and my mom's a janitor growing up as a kid. So it's in my DNA to really much look at life through fight or flight. There's not enough, scarcity, money doesn't grow on trees. I got to save, spending too much. So I get where they're coming from in that. But you have to change your subconscious mind, which is your body. So the first step is reprogramming through what works for me is using the visual cortex, right, my eyes. So in the very beginning, I laid money all over my house. And everywhere I would walk, there was money, $10 bills, $20 bills. I would light a green candle at night, and I would look at this green, which is abundance, right? And I would just visualize for 20, 30 minutes before I'd go to bed, and I'd repeat affirmations. Money's coming in easily and frequently like a tidal wave. It's everywhere. It's just so easy to have effortless abundance. Everybody wants to give me money. It's crazy. And I just convinced myself before it even happened that it was coming, that it was easy. I would write checks to myself in the future that seemed maybe impossible that I could ever cash, And over time,
did you cash those checks? Did you write it like 6 months in the future and go, all right, now I get to cash this?
What's crazy is I did it every day. So I really started working with the law, and I would write a check, $4,000 today. I don't know what's going to happen, but somebody's going to reach out. And I was running a credit and debt settlement company. I'm like, I want to make $4,000 today. And the next day, $4,500, then $5,000, then $10,000. And I was like stretching myself. I was using the laws that I was learning. And I was just staying so committed. And I was so hell-bent on helping people and like changing their lives, even back then, that I was really chasing them to benefit their life. It wasn't about chasing money. It was about chasing change of the individual, helping them in their condition. And I was just doing as much as I could.
This money conversation is really interesting. It's triggering for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know I had to do a lot of work around my relationship to money, and then realize that it's tied to every aspect of my life. There's the consideration of money comes up constantly as we move through life. Maybe not for you. I actually get breaks from it now
Yeah.
but I used to feel completely limited by it at all times.
Yeah.
And I think that my experience and working with people, and then when the money conversation comes up, there's this ethical and moral thing that rears its head, and they go, well, I was having a conversation with a friend last night, and I was making a suggestion about how to budget and do finance for his business, and he goes, well, is this like a ethical way of doing it? And I go, we're just talking about numbers. It's like I'm not. I didn't talk about any agencies or the government, or I wasn't talking about people. I wasn't talking about anything other than how money should flow in your business.
Yeah.
And then there was this, oh, is that ethical? Or I go, it's just it's how things are flowing. What do you mean? Like it's like asking if
Yeah.
like how you're breathing right now is ethical.
Yeah.
So people they've got this moral, ethical attachment to money, and then a lot of times when they hear someone talk about it as freely as you do or as I do, they may get triggered by it and go, oh,
Yeah.
that's selfish to put money all over your house, or are you worshiping money, or yeah,
There's people like that for sure.
yeah. I think it's the majority.
You think they are?
I think so.
Yeah.
So you're probably like you've likely surrounded yourself with people.
Yeah, that I'm in a fishbowl.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
where I live, that's the case. But then I also work with a lot of.
It's not like the cartoon DuckTales with the
No.
rich duck. I am not.
We're actually
sliding down a
we're going
slide.
swimming in your
Gold
money
coins.
pool.
Yeah, it does not look like that.
That's later today.
I'm talking, it is not like that. I was talking like back in the day, 8.5 years ago, $1 here, $20 here, if I was really balling,
Yeah.
and just impressing it upon my mind, because I was resistant just like that person. I was very much, and I was taught that rich people are assholes.
Okay.
There was one attorney that lived in Lake City, Michigan when I was growing up.
He was an asshole.
And he was an asshole automatically because his house was $250,000.
Yeah.
Which was a mansion in Lake
huge.
City, which is massive, right? So I'm like,
good luck in San Diego.
So rich people, rich people are assholes.
Yeah.
And that was the neuro association that I had.
Yeah.
So now my association
what made you want to be wealthy?
Because I had a mentor tell me, he said, and maybe it was Ronald Reagan of the past or something, but it was, you can only help as many people as you can afford to help. And one of the resources to do that in this physical realm is through the use of currency.
Yeah.
Through the use of money. And what is money? Money, broken down as an acronym, is my own natural energy yield, right? And what is our natural energy? Our natural energy is love. So if I am embodying love as the divine feminine and masculine man that I am, and I'm just blessing and helping as many people as I can, then it would be only natural for God to supply me with as much energy or as much money as possible to do my mission and my purpose on this planet at this time. Right?
Love it.
Yeah. That's it.
If you're not convinced to.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you if someone wanted to work on, if they go, oh, I have money shit.
Yeah.
Where would you point?
Subconscious, right away. Where's it coming from? Let's explore that. Let's look at it. Where was it coming up? Journal about it, write about it, get it out of here. Like what you resist persists. So if you're afraid of it, it's just going to keep hitting you over and over. I used to be so deathly afraid of just swiping my debit card at the grocery store when I was paying for groceries, like $50. I'm going to see the decline. I'm going to see the decline. And this was the program that I was on. And I had to deal with that. I used to write myself checks and cash them. Like this was probably fraudulent when I was like 17, 18. So don't do this now. But I would cash the check at a grocery store for $100 or $200 to get the cash, and then hoping that I had enough money in the bank so that it could, pay for the check that I just wrote.
Oh, that's funny.
So I'm coming from nothing when it comes from this. And am I saying that I've demonstrated fully? No, I still have issues, dude.
Yeah.
I'm still working on things. Every once in a while, payroll's coming. We got 100 employees. I'm losing my shit for a couple days. Like, how are we going to do this? Like, it's the real deal.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
How many employees are with Organifi now?
Almost 100.
Almost 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I had I had over 20 at one point, and that that was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I got lean since
Yeah,
then.
it's good to lean up.
But I can only imagine that's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot to think about. I don't think people really consider that when they think about people who are running the business.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're like, oh, it looks so great and so much fun. And it is. But
and they only see the good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that's behind the scenes, oftentimes it's like even the family members that are a part of the company, they don't see that.
Yeah.
So it's the inner workings.
I was here, I think it was January, February, it was traffic and conversion was going on.
Yeah.
And I was personally in the process of leaving a business and then starting a new one and all this stuff. And then I walk in and you guys are crushing it. And and there's like, I'm sitting with a bunch of basically a room full of entrepreneurs. We're all in there and I'm feeling like not good. I was like, these guys are crushing it, and like, I don't even know what I'm gonna be like. I'm like changing all these gears in my own business and all this stuff, and I was having a tumultuous experience myself, and then but I paid attention, and I was like, okay, what are they doing really well, and it was I learned a lot just by being in the room, hearing you speak. Hearing your business partner speak, and one of the things that the number one thing that stuck out to me, which I loved, is that y'all are not afraid to say what's really going on. Like you're sharing what's really on your heart. And I know in business for a long time, I've always had conversations with other entrepreneurs and other business owners are like, oh, you don't want to share that with these people or those people, and there's definitely time for discernment, but I love how openly you guys share. And the thing that stuck out was we're a personal development company that happens to sell great product, and I go, oh, that's why I love Organifi. Like I love Organifi, but I'm like, don't know exactly why. And I go, oh, this makes perfect sense. They just came out and said the thing and put the name on the thing that I had already been experiencing up until this point. That was really cool.
And you're a walking billboard for that.
Yeah.
Because everybody you meet, everybody you talk to, everybody listening to this is always uplifted by you. And you're developing, so it's very natural for them to develop just by listening to you. I mean, you and I could literally have a conversation like we're doing right now, which is absolutely remarkable. Talk about a few things here and there that are like educational, but just talk about our lives and have a great conversation, and people are benefiting from that.
Absolutely.
From you and what you're creating.
Yeah.
And yeah, we love having you part of the family, my
Thanks.
man.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Loving it. That's one of the things I look at when I look at fitness, and I look at coming from owning a gym myself and being way into the fitness world, and it's always gonna be a part of me, and realizing that it was the first step in my personal development. It was like, oh, I want to change my body.
Yeah.
This physical thing is, you know, I was coming from a place of it's not good enough, and over time got to a place where I love it exactly the way it is, and I get to treat it really well. So my relationship with my body has shifted over the years, but it was putting in the work to change something physically. So I look at the fitness industry, and I really like that your company is approaching it that way, the personal development piece. But what I'm seeing with gyms now, I'm seeing this with gyms and trainers, is, my head coach for my coaching program, he has a gym down in Imperial Beach.
Yeah.
And what he says is, we're a personal development facility that happens to do fitness.
I love it.
Is what ended up, he's been running his gym for years, and in the last year that he transformed it into, they've shifted the entire culture in about a year to be that. Like, oh, when you come in, we talk about the vision for your life. You don't just come in and like learn how to work out and sweat.
Yeah.
There's something bigger going on here.
Yeah, because the reasons are bigger than your goals.
Yeah.
And you got to have that deep underlying reason, or we call it the why-identity, so a why that makes you cry. And when you can live from that place, the body will naturally take care of itself.
Yeah.
But for me, it was 8.5 years ago, I got a blood test back. I had high cholesterol. Thyroid was all jacked up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm probably not going to live to meet my grandson one day if I keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that reason has pulled me to maintaining, I would say, close to, 10%, 8 to 10% within 2 weeks throughout my life. Like, that's the average.
Yeah.
Body fat with the ability to run a great mile and express myself in the gym however I want to, whether that's lifting heavy-ass weight or anything that I want to do, just having dominion.
It becomes easy.
Yeah, it's just easy, and you love it.
Yeah.
And it's part of your ritual, and then you're hooked. The neurochemicals associated with that, like I'm addicted to a bunch of positive shit. Yeah.
Rad. Yeah. So the last time we talked, the book hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
But it's out.
Yeah. So you be you.
You be you.
I was debating between that name, and I've never told anybody else this, but the other name that I was going to put on this book was Permission Granted. So it's more of like your permission slip to be who you really are.
Yeah.
And giving them the tools, elements of removing the limitations of the mind, getting rid of those, detoxing your life, and then owning who you really are, owning your awesome, as we say in the book. And it's a roadmap. It's a transformational guide using mindset exercises and the different principles that I've used to transform, thousands of people throughout my career at Fitlifetv and Organifi.
Right. The permission granted thing is really peculiar to me.
Yeah.
One thing I recognize when I'm coaching people is I've had moments where I'm trying to get someone to their own realization, and then sometimes I realize they just want permission.
Yeah.
And then I say, hey, it's okay if you want to do that, or maybe you should give it a shot. And all of a sudden, wave of relief comes over them. And then they go do the thing, and they're the happiest. They're having these really happy moments and this and that. And I go, wow, that's something they could have given themselves.
Yeah.
Why are people looking for external permission?
I think it's this illusion of hierarchy that we have, especially for, like, I'll use the example of this business that I run. And I had a conversation with Amy Beaver, who I love dearly. She's like one of my favorite people. She's our CMO. And we had a meeting, and she just wanted to hear that she has permission to mess up, to do marketing campaigns that maybe they don't work right away, or it doesn't back out on the KPIs or whatever we're looking for. She just wanted that internal permission. And of course, we gave it to her because she's brilliant. She's a visionary, and she sees things that not everybody's looking at. And we gave her the permission, and it was like this aha moment, this realization that, maybe, and this wasn't the exact case, but maybe there was a point in her life, or the person that's listening to this, where somebody said, no, you can't mess up. Like, it'll cost us way too much if you mess up once. So then the person ends up walking around eggshells. They end up not living their life purpose. They end up conforming.
Well, that's really common behavior is, I don't want to mess up because, 12 years of school and then 4 to 8 years of college is all about getting it right, or you're being
brainwashed.
Punished.
Yeah. So you're brainwashed into thinking that you can't.
So how do you unbrainwash that?
So one of the things we've done at Organifi, and Lisa Shields, our HR Chief Heart Officer, we just won the 4th best place to work for in the country.
Damn, congratulations. That's so rad.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the things that we really focus on.
Maybe I should be. No.
Is, failing forward. This thing of failure, it's such an illusion. It's such a lie. There's so much information from getting kicked in the nuts and failing. Like, there's so much you can take out of that. And we've created an environment of that. So we encourage people to step out, to really challenge themselves, to live in that edge. You're always pushing your edge. You're always living outside your comfort zone. And it's remarkable to see the individuals in here that are having, we do a 100-day challenge right now.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the different things people are challenging themselves to do that they've never done in their lives. I mean, we have people doing backflips all over the place, like doing acrobatics in here, like things that seem risky and you could fail. You could break your neck if you do a backflip. But, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So that environment's everything, and the environment of office and the business that we're running, but the environment of the individual collective mind as well.
Yeah. So you talk about. I'm thinking about environment now, and
Yeah.
I've studied habit change for a long time.
Yeah. Likewise.
And I'm realizing that a lot of my early study of habit change was really surface level,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, change one habit at a time, try to replace these habits instead of start a new one or whatever. And then what's hit me more recently is environment. It's like, if you just create a new environment for yourself, the habit is being formed by environment, not a lot of the behaviors coming from that, not because you're in a routine.
Yeah. And unfortunately, when by the time you're 35 years old, 98% of what you do every day is just a subconscious program. You're walking around like a robot, and you're just doing what the subconscious has learned how to do, which is why time collapses on itself and time speeds up, is because you're not getting as much dopamine release. There's no threats. There's nothing to protect yourself against, which is why if you go on a vacation, the first day is always the longest. It's because you're getting those neurochemicals from the threat level. You're protecting yourself. The brain's remembering everything.
There's also that novelty.
Yeah, which the novelty and environment's huge. And that was one of the first things in my transformation as well. I was living in Tampa, Florida, 8.5 years ago. I was 40 pounds overweight, like I said, and I chose to move to San Diego.
Yeah.
And I wanted to move to San Diego because the people here, likened to Mr. Mike Bledsoe, were open. They were aware. They were conscious. And every time I had visited here, I'm like, there's a certain kind of energy here that I want to be a part of. So I chose to move. And once we move through environment, then we can start to change our beliefs, which if you look at logical levels, you probably studied it with habit change. The top one's identity.
Yeah.
But you have to change your beliefs about who you are, and who your being has to shift before what you're receiving back.
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to do the doing part.
Yeah.
They go, oh,
exactly.
If I do these things, I'll become this person.
Yeah.
But that's the hard way.
Yeah.
Or you could just become the person that does the thing.
Yeah, and model the person that's already doing it.
Yeah.
Become friends with them. Shadow them.
Yeah. I was having a thought. I had a question I was wanting to ask, and I was like, I'm gonna pin it there, and I'm gonna come back.
It'll come back.
We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We could just freak them out and just sit in awkward silence. Eye gaze again.
Let's do it. The failing forward got me thinking about a lot of people are. There's a common phrase that I see with people who are. This happens a lot with men and women as they age. As we age, a lot of times we're like, I just want to get back to the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea of like failing forward it's the same principle. It's because you're never going back. There is no going back. There's no such thing as going back. Yeah. You're always going forward. It's like, I want to get back to the way things were. I want to get my body back to the way it was. It's like, it's never going there.
Yeah.
So where can you go forward from here?
Yeah. I got a text from a dear friend, and he's like 65 years old. And he's like, hey, I want my 20-year-old body back. Help me get there.
How old is he?
65.
65,
and he wants to be, in his 20s again. And, it's just, there's a new standard. There's something new that you can create that's even further along the lines of what you desire. But there's no going back, ever. Once you expand consciousness, there's no, what Einstein said,
You can't.
So.
Yeah, the idea, I was listening to a song last night. I was putting together a mix, and it was
nice.
It was the messaging, and it was like, I'm going to push what I know all the way to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And, can I go back? And it's no. It's like once you can't unknow once you have the knowing.
Yeah.
So
tree of knowledge,
you're locked in.
The tree of life.
Locked in once you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we love having you in here, Mike.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This has been great.
What's
most exciting for you next?
I think what's really exciting for us is at Organifi, our future products that we have that we're in creation of now.
Yeah.
We're discovering a lot of superfoods that have not been put into elixirs and the different things that we're coming up with yet. Likened to Glow. Glow is a skin internal hydration thing, we're using tremella, which is a mushroom that has 5 times the amount of hyaluronic acid in it. So internally, it's helping you age more gracefully, right, in a positive way. So there's different superfoods that Mother Nature has created that benefit us that we're now using. And the potential of that, you know, because when you look good, when you feel good on the outside, you're putting that frequency out into the universe too and attracting whatever it is that you want, you know, back to you.
Yeah, I know
With
that
greater ease.
I hang out with some of the fringe and people that are maybe traipsing around the forest themselves looking for these
Yeah, you
mushrooms
do.
and all these special elixirs, and I find myself in these weird little spots where there's a bar and they're serving all these things that most people never heard of, and I forget sometimes. I forget that people don't know
Yeah.
that. I mean, 5 years ago, no one was using reishi mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like they had no idea. Now it's commonplace.
Yeah.
So
But are they extracted using ultrasound?
What?
Yeah. Like our new immunity product, we're using the ultrasound technology. First time it's ever been done to extract beta glucans from reishi.
Okay.
And the beta glucans now have research that shows that it's great at boosting up your immune system. Like there's very little things that are that powerful. The reishi mushroom is, I mean, it's a magic thing.
Yeah.
So
you guys are bringing these products to people who would never. This is what I like about it is you're bringing a lot of products that usually only like the crazy fringe people are playing with, and you're tapping into that, and then you're integrating it in with things that make sense to the average person.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, glow. I want to glow.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we're gonna put shit in there that's
That
gonna
will
like
help you
make
glow.
you glow.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be good for you.
Yeah, and at the same time, we're teaching them because the personal development piece.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna glow, you got to remove sugar, dairy, wheat. These things that.
How do you guys? I mean, we're doing it some of it now, but
Yeah.
do you guys have a systematic way for distributing that education?
It's
What does that look like?
usually via email.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, and it's optional. You don't have to be educated. You could just buy the product. And be fine, you know? But yeah, we send out emails. We make a lot of videos. We do a lot of free content.
Yeah.
And it's just specifically to benefit them. And I film it as if it's a close family member that needs to see it.
Yeah.
Because that's really how it started. You know, my mom was dealing with arthritis. As a janitor, she could barely grip a broom anymore and pick up objects because her back and her sciatic nerve and all these things that she was dealing with. So I started studying superfoods, and I found that turmeric, you know, this was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, we got to get you juicing turmeric. So I sent her a juicer and researched the best turmeric online, and I was sending it to my mom, and within 3 weeks, she got full functionality back in her hands. And yeah, so it started with my family, and then it rippled out into the bigger, broader family and the collective.
It's crazy because I run into so many people who are having some type of health issue, and it seems like they go to a doctor, and a doctor prescribes them some type of medication that causes more problems.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really solve the problem, and it's not a long-term solution, and all this stuff. And then they battle it for 5, 10 years, or however long it is. They're like battling this thing, and then they finally give into the alternative thing, which is, you know, healthy eating practices and, you know, trying, you know, natural food sources and
then they're hooked.
Like turmeric and mushrooms and stuff like that. And yeah, it's how do you get people to switch over? Do you think we have that possibility and with our culture, with our society right now, because everybody is basically outsourcing the responsibility of their health to doctors, and one of the things you're advocating is to take our own responsibility and start putting good stuff in our body.
Yeah, you have to eventually become a big enough skeptic to be like, all right, I am not aging in the best way that I want. I'm getting more pain. I'm on all these pain meds, whatever your scenario is. And then you got to wake up. Like if this current method of working on my body is no longer serving me, maybe there's a different road. And I think being the demonstration of what physical fitness looks like, mental fitness, health, period. Like being a healthy guy like you know, looking at the whites of your eyes and not seeing any red, knowing that your liver is pure and you're clean, like you're the demonstration of that. So the more people that we can get on that bus, which is my life's work, the greater your frequency is as a human. Energetically, we're talking, right? Like the mass consciousness of the planet. I had a dream where I was looking at the earth and there was a lot of red. Red is very primal, it's very root chakra, it's very angry, it's very depressive, it's very sad. There's war, right? There's women in Dubai just got the ability to drive cars just recently.
What?
So there's so much,
I didn't even know that was a
yeah, like there's so much shit that's happening on this planet where if we're going to change the collective and help humanity, which I'm not saying that you and I are here to save humanity, right? We're just a part of the source.
Not here to save anybody.
Yeah, we're not here to save anybody.
Yeah.
We're here to change ourselves. But when we change ourselves, enough people will wake up and change themselves, and then the whole world will be free.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I found is there was a period of time where I want, again, going back to wanting other people to be different.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can help them. Like, I want to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I realize I'm like, oh, I'm not helping them at all. I'm hurting them. But then getting to a place where like, oh, I'm.
And then you take on their karma.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful of that.
So then coming from a place of like, I'm going to work on me and do the best I can do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, my experience has been that the people closest to me then start hitting they start climbing whatever ladder it is that they were wanting to climb. And it's like no effort on my part. And I was like, oh, I can see your potential. I'm trying to get you to go this way. I'm pushing. Resistance. Oh, I'm going to completely let go. I'm just going to do me. And all of a sudden they skyrocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
You're not here to sell anybody anything. You're not here to get them to change. You're just changing who you are. I'm just changing who I am. And by doing that and living that way for so long, more and more people open up to it.
Yeah.
My sister just started juicing vegetables. She's been seeing me do this for 8.5 years. She just started. She's lost like 20 pounds.
Nice.
She's still in Michigan. You know,
Nice.
she's on a roll. She's walking every day now, which is crazy. Like she's really taking it on.
Yeah.
But it took 8.5 years. But who am I to judge and think that it's just her way? You know, everybody has their own way.
Yeah. Well, I know that I've had teachers in the past that look at me and go, oh, geez. I look back at myself 5 years ago and I was like, wow, I must have been a pain in the ass of these mentors at one point.
God.
I doubt I was because they were of the mindset I am now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I go, oh, wow. I thought I was so good at what I was doing. I look back and go, oh, that's really funny. And if I ever find myself judging where someone else is at, I quickly remind myself that this is why it's good to have mentors.
Yeah.
Like I like having people who are much older than me as mentors because I
Yes.
know that I immediately just put myself in their shoes and go, they're chuckling at me for my dumb shit right now.
Well, and it's like when we're really young, you know, when we're in our 20s and early 30s, we can say that now that we're elders. Right? we think that we're hot shit as men.
Yeah.
And charismatic men that are driven alpha males. We think that we are the greatest thing on the planet in our younger years. And we have no idea. Like, I mean, the older I get, the more hysterical some of my old behavior is. And I just can smile and have compassion for it because it's like, it's, the more mature we become, the more we realize we didn't know anything. I don't know anything, right? Like there's so much on this planet and there's so much juiciness to this life that we're living. To think that I knew something back then is to just, I mean, it blows my mind.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious. You laugh at myself. You could literally laugh at yourself all day, every day for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you can't take it too serious.
Yeah. I've been living in the same house with one of my buddies for a little over a month now, and almost every single day he goes, "What are you laughing about?" I'm like, "Just laughing at me." like making some food. I'm like, he's like, "Oh, this is just for me.
Yeah.
Just for me, laughing at me." One of my favorite exercises. I do this. This is just fun, and I think it's healthy too. It's a healthy thing. It came out of doing a personal development type exercise at one point, and now it's just automatically embedded as I love to rewind 10 years. And I go, okay, what does 27-year-old Mike, if he gets to sit in the room for 5 minutes and be in this conversation we're having, or or
Yeah.
whatever, what does he think?
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. And so
So then you take on the mind of that 27-year-old, and you're like, what in the world?
what the fuck? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's sometimes it's what am I doing in this place?
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
What have you done?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, holy shit, this is how did you manage to create this life? It's so amazing.
Yeah. Most of the time, probably.
Most of the time it's that. Well, even the like, holy shit, I should get out of here is just stuff I used to be afraid of that I actually like now. Where I go, I've learned that we as human beings, we're a process.
Yeah.
And you can be more or less fluid as you choose. And the more fluid you become, there's things that if you would have said, oh, you should try this thing out. And 10 years ago, I'd have been like, nope, not a chance, never going to do that.
Likewise.
And then next thing I know, 5 years later, I'm like, that person I respect, they say it's a good idea. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I'm like, everyone should check this out.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. So like those types of things, I like to do the rewind and go, man, I've gotten into some weird shit.
You and me both, dude.
Yeah.
I'm realizing more and more, like, so flashback 10 years from me and what I'm doing, like this week, just this week alone. Like,
Yeah. What was 10 years ago?
I'm at my house. 10 years ago, I'm like, build, grind, hustle,
Mm-hmm.
working 14, 16-hour days, no social life, no going out on the weekends. It was so serious. Right? Serious, Drew. And serious, but I was in survival.
Yeah.
Complete survival. And now it's like after putting in the work, now I'm in this place of, well, now I need more more yin to my yang.
Yeah.
So
what would be the opposite? When you think about survival, what do you think? What's the opposite of survival for you?
Freedom.
Freedom
Of time, freedom of resources, just endless amounts of freedom. Not being attached, so detachment. Seeing total freedom would be seeing everything that we see as an illusion.
Right.
And living in nirvana, being in heaven. And I think maybe 10% there out of 100. But this week I'm working on building a chicken coop, and I'm in my rose garden every day. I'm sprinkling bone meal, and like I'm growing these beautiful roses, and I'm playing so many different instruments at my house, and I'm doing archery, and I'm doing axe throwing, and I'm doing all these things daily. I'm taking a bath, Epsom salt with rose petals on the bath. I'm like, if I would have looked back at myself 10 years ago, I would have been like, who is this guy? Get me the out of here. Like,
you couldn't even enjoy it.
It's hilarious.
When
no,
you were 28,
I would
you
have been
couldn't enjoy
so in my head, dude, you're going to fail. You're a loser. Get your shit together. What the hell are you taking a bath for? Get up. It's 4:30 in the morning. Wake up. It's 5:30. You're sleeping in. Get up. Like the voice in my head, it would have been just like Drill Sergeant Drew. No fun, right? Go out at night. Maybe I did go out. Stayed out till 2 o'clock in the morning. I would have been up at 5 running 3 miles, and then I would have been working for another 8-10 hour day to make up for being such an asshole the night before. That's like how my mind would have worked.
So, so all that behavior led to this. And what do you tell people who do you think that you could get where you are now without having gone through that phase? And do you think that phase was necessary in business to get where you're at? Or do you think
Great questions.
Or do you think that like someone could adopt this way of being immediately and start seeing the positive effects?
I think having kindness, being laid back, working from the field, changing your mind first before taking action and having to be involved in everything, will always win.
Yeah.
So the way that I'm currently doing it is a lot better, but it took me going through the trenches and the pain and everything else to get to where I am. So I love it, and I love what I've been through. I wouldn't change anything, but I think there is a more effective way.
Yeah.
I'd probably have less gray hair. I probably would, who knows? But you know what? It was fun. It was awesome. I learned a lot, and the life mission just continues. So I'll probably do the same thing 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And it'll just happen. We'll be laughing at ourselves again when we're on a podcast, or it'll probably be virtual reality or hologram or something. Where
Can't
we
even
just show
predict
up.
it.
Yeah.
Can't even predict. We'll be floating in space or
Yeah.
something. We'll just kind of be in zero gravity.
Our consciousness is already uploaded. So now
Yeah.
you and I are talking in person, but our doppelganger energetic perspective of a computer data system will be communicating back and forth. We'll be like,
Instantly sharing experiences. Started thinking about, all right, we got to get a float tank involved.
yes.
2 float tanks, VR goggles.
So do you have a float tank at your house? I've
No.
been playing around with the idea.
No, I've thought about it. I have just about everything else at my house.
Yeah.
The float tank
Talk
is
to
one
me
thing I
about
don't.
that. I want to know what's in the Biohacking Lab.
Okay. Yeah, because as soon as I walked in, we started talking like, what things are you taking? What things are you doing? And I mean, you guys got a sauna in here. You guys got
At the office.
Yeah, at the office. You guys do red light.
We have red light.
You have red
So
light.
Juve.
Yep.
Right. You friends with
Juve,
those guys.
yeah.
Great company.
Rad.
We want to put a cold plunge in here.
Yeah.
We want to put a biocharger in here. Have you heard of biochargers?
Cold plunges can
Yeah.
get expensive.
Yes.
It's one of the most expensive things you can do, unless you just do a freezer. But I wouldn't do the freezer in the office because
So there's 2 companies, and I bought both. Right. I bought one from Great Lakes Cedar Tubs, which Laird Hamilton Greenfield recommended to me. If you want to spend $4 or $5 grand on a good cold plunge, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a company that I found in Michigan.
Home Depot, $500.
Home Depot, you can get the ice
Freezer.
tub,
I did that,
freezer.
yeah.
You can do that.
I wouldn't put that in a commercial space, but yeah.
No.
That's
Or if
good
you
for
really want to
backyard.
go all out, these guys in Michigan, they're called Furo Health, Furo Health. And it literally looks like a luxurious spa. You could drop it into a deck. And this is the way to do it. Like this, I mean, I sit in this thing. It's 2 people. So sometimes I convince my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, jump in the cold plunge with me. Let's sit it out. And
Eye gaze while freezing?
You and I
That's
are
the
going to
best.
the same place.
It's the best.
Yeah, we're right there with each other.
That's the next show.
45 degrees.
We're going to eye gaze in the ice bath.
It'll be a 20-second show. It'll be beautiful.
All right, so, okay, yeah, so at the house,
Yeah.
what do I have at the house? Sunlight and sauna.
Yep. You do sauna every day?
Probably half the
5,
days.
Half the days.
I like to do it before bed. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so, oh yeah, I'll just run you through the routine.
Yeah, give
and
me
I
the
use all the
routine.
gadgets in the process.
We'll share routines.
So, and I got a new one. I got a new gadget.
Okay.
That's really exciting. So
I'm going to be shopping today. I
Yeah.
can tell already.
let
You're
me get
excited
my
about this one.
affiliate code for the new thing first.
All right.
So wake up. I do the Juve red light.
Yes.
So I power that baby on, buck naked.
On your balls.
Yep.
Okay.
Got to get it on the balls.
You got to get the perineum too.
I actually, yeah. Okay, so what I do is I do 8 minutes per side. I do 8 minutes on the front, 8 minutes on the
Yes.
back, and I'm doing some type of movement while I'm in front of it. So I'm playing
Okay.
some like really chill music. I'm breathing. I'm moving really slow. I'm doing some stretches.
yes.
And on the back side, I do some like put my hands on my feet and lift my butt up and down. So I'm definitely getting the perineum in the back of the balls
Yes.
with the red light. You want to hit everything.
You get the chocolate starfish in there?
Absolutely, 100%. You're missing out if you miss that. So so I do that. Before that, obviously, I'm drinking.
Hydrate.
I hydrate. I drink the water.
Tons of
drink,
Organifi green juice.
Then I drink the green juice.
Okay.
And that's how I get started. Red light therapy, movement, and then at night I like to wind down. So for me, it's like morning and evening, and in between, there's all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But my movement session will be either right now I'm kickboxing twice a week. So my buddy is
Nice.
an amazing kickboxing coach. And what we're working on is moving smooth and loose. So most people get into like boxing and they tense up, right?
Yeah.
And so
me.
everything I'm doing with my movement practice right now is about being smooth. And if I'm not being smooth, I slow down, get slower, find where the
You trying to
gaps
make
are
me
at.
tired?
I'm hypnotizing you.
Yeah, I'm getting real sleepy.
So so even with kickboxing, even with striking,
Yeah.
even slowing it down, getting really, really smooth, and keeping the body loose. I finish kickboxing and I feel my body nothing's tense. Everything feels great. So then go on about my day, eat pretty much fat and protein throughout the day, eat carbs at night. But before bed, what I like to do to wind down is I jump in the sunlight and sauna, and there's a relaxation mode. Yeah, and
I didn't even know that button existed.
you probably just like turn on as hot as possible.
160.
Like
40 minutes.
Yeah. I do 40 minutes relaxation mode, take a cold shower after that, and then hop in my bed. And what I have, and of course I drink the gold before bed every night. You know what I do? I do the gold drink,
Yeah.
the Organifi Gold with collagen in it. I do a scoop of collagen.
Okay.
So that makes it like a little bit creamier.
Yeah, vanilla. I've done that before.
No vanilla, just unflavored.
Just normal collagen. Okay.
Yeah. It adds a little more oomph to it. But I got this new thing called Chili Pad.
Yes, I love it.
You have one?
Yes.
Fucking A.
Best thing ever, dude.
What
Tell me
temperature do
about
you
it.
sleep at?
55.
55.
Yeah.
I've been doing it at 62 because that's what the research said. But I think I could go colder.
Now I'm changing my time.
Because I'm hot.
Yeah, me too.
I run hot.
Me too.
Probably most people that are running businesses run hot.
Oh, pitta all the way.
Yeah, fire.
So 62. I'm gonna check that out.
That's what the research says. I usually start with whatever the research says and start adjusting. I've only slept on it. It's been less than a week now. It's new.
Oh, it changes
new for
everything.
Me. Yeah.
You wake up and pee?
Yeah.
I do. Too.
I don't.
The older
I don't
I
pee
get,
my bed, but
no. Yeah, you don't
wake
pee
up
your
in
pants.
pee.
Yeah.
Or wake up
In the chili pad. I thought that was normal. Something's frozen in my leg down here. I think I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is, but I'm curious. How often do you wake up every night?
I wake up when I wake up.
Once or twice?
I don't.
To pee?
I don't wake
You
up
sleep
to pee.
all the night through?
I sleep all the way through. Rarely do I get up to pee.
You got a healthy prostate.
Good.
See, I wake up. I mean, I'm getting close
Is that what it is? If
Yeah.
you're waking up and peeing?
And zinc and then a little bit of sea salt. I know probably there's people listening to this. Solved it for me. So electrolytes before bed was something that I did so you don't wake up. It's important to get your deep sleep.
Well, when I was in the Navy, I remember I was at Bud's, and you had to. It's like every day is the toughest fucking day of your life.
Yeah.
And
pounding water.
Waking up in the morning is hard because when you wake up, you know you're about to suffer. Like I'm about to suffer. So getting out of bed was the hardest part of the whole Bud's experience. And so what I would do is I would drink 32 ounces of water right before I went to bed. So that I would have to.
So that helps you.
It would force me to get up. And so it was when I was 19, I started playing around with how much water I drank before bed. So now what I do is I hydrate heavily in the morning, and throughout the day I hydrate less, and I train in the morning.
Okay.
So I hydrate less and less and less. Even with the sauna, I don't overhydrate. So I'm always playing with I use a lot of salt. I use a lot of electrolytes, and I cut down the water before bed so that I don't get up and pee, so I can sleep longer.
See, I drink so much water before bed.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I'm drinking
like
probably, 2 gallons.
I'm not sure it's a prostate thing. Maybe it's
just you're just drinking water.
Drinking shitloads of water.
Yeah.
And then as far as the health of that whole area, I think doing intentional breath work where you're locking. Do you do breath work?
Not as much as I could. You know, I'm friends with our probably mutual friend Sam Scully, who's a huge breath work practitioner.
Yeah. If you want to go on a breath journey, I could take you on something that will just light your fire.
We should do it.
30 minutes.
Yeah, I want to know your
send you to
breath
space
program.
Yeah, I've got the first 20 minutes is a complete like body emotional release.
Yeah.
And then the last few minutes is rocket ship through crown chakra.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I need this.
It's a double whammy.
Should we take them with us?
We should take them with us. Actually, I can't. I can't share. I could, but I'm not going to share the technique, the full technique, because I'm afraid that people would do it every day.
And you can't do it every day.
You don't want to do it every day because it's such an adrenaline dump. So if you once a week, if you started your day with this particular breathwork technique, and this is one of those guys, a lot of the Wim Hof guys know it.
Yeah.
the top practitioners, but they don't share
Yeah.
it. And yeah, it's one of those things. If you did you would potentially exhaust yourself, adrenal fatigue.
Wow.
But once a week you can do this, and it just it's amazing.
Send you to the moon. I
Send you
like
to the
that.
moon. You'll get some people report sacred geometry, visuals, and
Yeah.
all sorts of really fun
Whoa.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna add that in.
All right. So is there any
Anything
cool,
that I do?
yeah,
Would
any
you add
hacks
to
that like you're doing that you didn't hear me say, or
So
what do you got?
lately, I've been waking up at 3, and I jump in the hyperbaric chamber.
Ooh. Do you
So
go back to sleep in there?
So Sarah wakes us up in the morning, serotonin, and Mel puts us to bed at night, right?
Mhm.
Melatonin. So I find that if I can adjust my melatonin precursor with cortisol first thing in the morning by doing a little light, I can get a lucid induction while I'm letting the chamber fill up with oxygen. So now I'm in this solid
When you say
hyperbaric
light, what do you
chamber.
mean?
So
What kind of light?
light increases cortisol. Blue
Yeah, but
light,
okay, so you're just turning on a light.
just turning on
All
a
right,
light
I was wondering if you had some type
at
of
3 in
light.
the morning, right? Yeah.
Okay.
You were wondering if it's pink or magenta or
Oh, I was wondering if you
fuchsia.
had some glasses or
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
got to
yeah,
be
yeah.
a toy, right?
It's got to be a toy. You could do any light. Any light works.
So simple.
Yeah, jump in. I'm old school, right? And then
He's just hitting switches on the wall.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, how boring.
And then I do lighting up my energy center. So I went to a Joe Dispenza workshop. This guy's a freak of nature, right?
I studied his stuff
Yeah.
deeply 2 years ago, and
He's great.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things I ever did.
So his
Yeah.
energy center, where you're pushing up the cerebrospinal fluid
Yeah.
up to your pineal gland at like 3 in the morning while in a hyperbaric chamber. I've had crazy lucid dreams in doing this. It's been absolutely wild. So I'll get in there
I
at
need
3.
a hyperbaric chamber now.
Yeah, and then
I'm
for
hooked.
an hour and a half, I got a good supplier to it. It's really
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll hook you up. And no affiliate code. I'm just gonna give it to you. Okay? And so I'm in this thing and I'm blasting off for an hour and a half, and I've tracked my my REM cycle too. So I'm dropping into deep, deep, deep sleep, and I got an air conditioner in the chamber, so it's really cold. Like it's like a freezer.
Do they come
know?
with one, or did you install that? Is that an aftermarket?
It's an aftermarket thing you can order with it.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's just cranking it up, getting it really cold in there. So you just you hit it, and it's got the white noise that it automatically makes because of the compressor.
How
So
cold
like,
is it?
I mean, it's probably, I'd say 60 degrees,
Okay,
65.
not too bad.
Not like 37. You know, I'm not freezing.
You
but
got like
it's cold.
icicles
Yeah.
coming off the beard.
I come out, I look like Tom Hanks in Castaway with all the shit in my beard. No, so I do that, and then I wake up, and then I try to remember and go through the dream sequences and what I'm taking away, because you can open up 8 or 9 different dream circles, and then start to piece it together with what's going on in your day. What are you looking for? So spending just a few moments like sharpening the axe, as Abraham Lincoln would say.
Yeah, that's going. I'm gonna adopt that because what I do in the morning is I wake up and then I intentionally draw back into that middle space.
Yes.
To access that dream state.
Yeah.
But 20 minutes in the morning, you're doing it. You've got a whole protocol happening that is another level.
That's crazy, and it's like some of the best messages I get in the morning from that. Then I go out to the garden. Like I said, I'm becoming a voracious gardener. We're building a beehive, chicken coop. I go out here and I just commune with Mother Nature. I mean, I put my feet in the dirt. I'm just taking it all in, breathing the oxygen. I got a mini golden doodle who's out there with me, and another little pup, mix, and we're just chilling. We're watching the sunrise. We're letting all those delicious vitamin B rays come into our bodies, and it's setting us up for success at night too, so we can sleep better.
Totally.
So getting that, and then just getting grateful out there. And I go to the gym. Obviously, I'm hydrating the whole time. I've been drinking a half a teaspoon of really good salt, and I've been using the Colima salt, which you probably have at your house too, the sea salt. A lot of people's thyroid is off because of the bromide or whatever. So the salt helps flush it out. I do apple cider vinegar. I mix our Organifi immunity product with it. It has large vitamin C, which vitamin C has been shown to help with adrenals and whatnot, as you know.
Yeah.
And a little apple cider vinegar. And I have this water thing at the house now. I just moved. You got to come over and see this.
Yeah.
It's sparkling tap water. but it's obviously not tap water. It's purified water, but it's sparkling from the faucet. So I put everything in here, and it's the greatest elixir you could have in the morning. I mean, it's like liquid gold.
I like that. Yeah.
And I mix it up with my little Organifi mixer thing, and I slam this and just drink so much water in the morning. Then I go to the gym, and I usually do the sauna and the cold plunge at night as well. Not right before bed, though. I might have to try that. And I've done the research on cold before bed. I know Tim Ferriss talks a lot about it.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I like to do I left that out. The cold plunge in the freezer.
Yeah.
Then hop in the sauna.
It's never fun, though. Are you at the point where like you look forward to jumping in this 50-degree?
You
put yourself in the future?
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now. I've gone through phases. Back in the fall, I spent a couple weeks in Virginia, and my business partner Mark, every single morning we had a horse trough at the house we were renting. Every single morning he would go and buy bags of ice, and I would wake up and he had already got the ice in it, and maybe he had already gotten in it or not, but it was whenever I woke up it was my turn. So I'd literally crawl out of bed and crawl right into the tank. So we spent a couple weeks filming till midnight, 1 o'clock inside this gym, and so this was our way of staying sane. But I was doing it every single day. I'd say it took me about 5 or 6 days to where I started enjoying it and looking forward to it. It wasn't a big deal. But if I let time go in between plunges, I'm like, all right, let's do this, you know.
Yeah. The benefits are real, though.
So real. A lot of people go, well, what's the difference? You know, they talk about cryo. I'm like,
cold plunge is better.
Cold plunge will give you all the benefits of cryo, and then it's going to check a bunch of other boxes, too.
Yeah.
The thing is it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it sucks.
So that's it.
Yeah. But I like playing in the realm of, you know, the oxygen hyperbaric chamber, going to the edge of the threshold. And there's been a lot of research in regards to heat, and then cold, and then oxygen. So I'm just testing everything.
Why
and
not?
It sounds like you are as well.
Why not? I was at PaleoFX and they had the hyperbaric chambers, and I didn't.
You'd love it.
I didn't have time to fuck with it that weekend, but I'm gonna get in there.
Yeah, I was sold. The minute I read about Lebron James, he's only been injured for 2 weeks, and he's been in the NBA for like 7 years. But part of his ritual is sitting in a hyperbaric chamber every day for an hour and a half. So I'm like, I'm gonna do that.
So you wake up early and you basically sleep in there.
And you sleep in it. You wake up early, and then you get the benefits of that light, that lucid induction.
Yeah.
Because the cortisol and the melatonin work together to wake you up in dream space.
Yeah.
And if you can wake up in dream space, you can literally 2 nights ago, or 2 mornings, if you want to call it that, I was my autonomic nervous system, and I was watching every system in my body that it normally takes care of itself and just does. Breath, visual, sensations, heartbeat, all of that. But I was controlling it from my autonomic nervous system in this dream. And I was manipulating it in like dream space. And then I'm like, who do I need to talk to? And it's like your higher self's like talking to your body. Who do I need to talk to in this time and space? And then all of a sudden, you're in the other person's dream time asking them questions.
Have you ever come to me?
Probably. Yeah, probably. And not that I can. I'm
now
sure
we're going to be on the lookout. And
I'm definitely sure we've traveled together.
Is Drew intruding in my dream space?
Well, back in the day, Toltecs used to, Aboriginal Indians used to lay around in tents in circles with their heads together. This set an intention, open up a portal, and they were all traveling together.
All right.
Energetically.
All right.
So we're going to do this.
Sounds like we got something to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Text me. Be like, bro, let's hit up, go somewhere.
I think we could find a few other guys that are
that would be
as normal as we are.
Yeah.
You can make this happen.
So one of the questions I get a lot from women, and you have women listening to this, is where do I find men like you? So I'm talking to you too, brother, because you and I we're equally as out there.
Yeah.
Where do these women go that are listening
to find
this?
guys like
to find guys like us? That sounds conceited. Because I don't. Elle's shaking her head like, what an asshole. But truth be told, my girlfriend's a relationship coach.
Well,
and all these girls are asking me, and her always, they're like, yeah, we get it.
Well,
like,
this is very, very common too. I live in a community that's it's rare. I live in a rare community where it's mostly beautiful women.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are single. And a lot of them are going, where are these guys at?
Seriously.
Is what they're asking.
Yeah. Where are they?
I don't know. well,
I love the honesty.
Well, the thing is I think most women are just looking in the wrong places.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
I don't know. There's not many people like me. There's not many people like
Yeah.
you. It's
just
pretty
weird.
rare.
Yeah.
We're rare.
But they exist.
Yeah, we're out here.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
So there's got to be more.
I'm open.
All right. Now we're getting somewhere.
No. Yeah. There's. It's funny because there's all these different communities. Like if I go into the business community, there's go to a mastermind. There's a lot of men that've got that part figured out, but they don't have the other stuff figured out. Or you get into fitness and they've got that dialed in, but not the other. Or I know some men that are like their number one thing is relationship.
Yeah.
But most women, they want a man that has purpose.
Yeah.
And their mission is their number one thing, and that
it has to come first.
It has to come first, and I think that's a common mistake for a lot of men.
And women.
And women.
Because they date somebody that doesn't, and then they wonder why everything else is off.
Yeah, and they're upset, and the guy gives in to the woman.
Yeah.
I mean, I look back on my previous behavior and go, oh, I see where I completely, put my attention on the woman and sacrifice my mission.
Yeah.
So
I've been there.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, I think what you're describing is women want guys who are healthy and strong physically, who are emotionally tapped in, know how to communicate, and I think one of the things this is where people get confused. This is where men get confused because we have gone through a phase in our culture where men have been emasculated.
Yes.
And so now men are afraid to be men.
Yes.
And so now they start acting like women.
Or like little boys.
Yeah.
Women.
Yeah. And then so now there's also this permission. So not in every community, but I know that in a lot of communities, men have been given permission to express themselves emotionally, which is a good thing. But the trouble is they don't have the tools to do it appropriately.
Yeah.
And so, or it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
And the expression is not mature. It's like an immature, childlike expression, but they haven't learned how to love that part, and so instead it comes out as really messy.
Yeah.
And there's a place for that. Men need to go somewhere to get messy.
Yes.
And
Wolfpack.
I've gone through that and still go through that, but I think women want men that are tapped in emotionally, but also are very emotionally strong at the same time. People who
can weather the storm.
Yeah, people who invest in language, mental, more cerebral personal development.
Yeah.
I mean, women want the whole package.
They do. And you know what?
It can exist.
And you know
everyone
what
has access to it.
Exactly. And what screwed us is Disney movies, dude.
Yeah.
These girls grew up watching the knight in shining armor that had the horse and the castle and all these attributes. So now every woman, most of them are looking for their knight in shining armor. And because we're in such a quick fix Instagram, swipe left, swipe right, it's at the minute of anything that doesn't serve them, they're like, I'm out. Well, and vice versa for men. Men are this. I mean, it's just
a lot of men feel like they need to be the knight in shining armor, and they're fighting the damsel in distress.
We're chasing perfectionism and
I lose interest in a woman when I realize that she wants to put me in a position of that knight in shining armor. I'm like,
yeah,
that's not. I mean, this is a reciprocal relationship. I'm not here to save you.
Yeah.
And so, for me, that's a telltale sign. Start talking to a woman and go, oh, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
You're looking for something that actually doesn't exist. But either way, you're not going to be happy.
I think a lot of us men fall into that though. Like it feels good to be the savior.
Oh, I used to.
Relationship. Me too.
I would say it was about 2 years ago I was able to finally give that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And I mean, I still watch the thought populate in my mind, like, oh, you're hanging out with this girl. Oh, she could really use your help in this way. I go, oh, it's okay for me to make suggestions, but for me to get.
You're not swooping in anymore.
No,
Captain
not
Save
at
a
all.
Ho. Yeah, that's a hard habit to break. It really is.
Yeah.
Because the ego loves it, and it feels so good to be saving someone. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something that comes with that, but
Yeah.
then it just has to happen again and
Exactly.
again and again.
You just get beat down so much.
Yeah.
It's like the movie Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. Well, this happens not just in relationship, but in like romantic relationships. This happens with coaching.
Yeah.
So I work with a lot of coaches, and
they fall in love with you.
yeah, the coaches get so emotionally attached to the clients' results. Like, oh, why aren't they doing what I want them to do? I'm so fucking frustrated, and that's really common. So I think that there's this triad of hero, victim, villain.
Yeah.
People like to get in that triad. That every story has it, right? And so we create these stories in our lives, and people have to play the roles, and people are getting cast, and sometimes the victim's the villain, and these things can move around. And I noticed that in the fitness industry, a lot of people who are attracted to coaching tend to place themselves in the hero role. And so like, oh, I'm it.
It's a trauma cycle too.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah, so they put themselves in the hero role, and then what they do is they end up working with victims and villains, and then they complain about people being victims and villains and can't understand why they're not doing this or that.
And that's where they casted themselves.
And they casted themselves as the hero. So this is a really advanced move for someone who's in any type of relationship.
Yes.
But for people who are attracted to coaching, I find that they love to step into the hero role. So it's like, okay, how do we separate that? How do you step outside the triad and see it for what it is, see the story for what it is? And then if you can elevate from there, now you can really impact lives.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say, and I love this, is elevating yourself outside of the hero role, which I would call the observer.
Yeah.
Right? So how often are you an observer of your life?
Yeah.
And how do we help somebody get to that level?
Yeah.
What's your experience with that?
I find there's a few different steps. I mean, there's the cerebral approach, which is a lot of language work. And so getting into the story, getting people to write down the story, look at it on paper, start changing the story, start translating it, finding out what it really means. That's one approach that I use.
Yeah.
But there's also the emotional approach. There's the of going, okay, what put you in this role in the first place? What happened at 4 years old?
Yeah, what was the desire?
What was
at 4?
What
didn't happen?
What didn't happen? How is it that you're trying to? What formed your personality and caused you to behave this way to get love?
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, oh, and so doing that level of work, I do a retreat where we do that level of work. It's like, okay, we deal with that origin story, that how that originated, and then all of a sudden it's funny because for that level of work, it can take up to 18 months to integrate that experience.
Oh yeah.
And then what ends up happening is everything in life, all of a sudden relationships completely shift, people seem different, people look different, everything changes because they've completely broken out of the story because there's this emotional attachment to this story that's going on in the mind, and all of a sudden the whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
And then you go back out in the world and go, oh, and sometimes people slip back into an old pattern just because out of habit, but then go, that feeling, I don't have that feeling. I feel different doing this and everything looks different. Oh, I can see it now. I've stepped out of the story because I'm not emotionally involved in it. And it's like, oh, cool. It's not a big deal anymore. And so I really like the emotional work. It's the most challenging work to do because, I mean, for us, it takes 6. We can only take 6 people for 6 days. I mean, it's
intense.
It's so intense that not everybody can have it. And so, but when people come out of that, it's like the changes are automatic.
Yeah.
It's the most effortless change of identity you can have. But
I love how you do these small workshops and clinics and getting people together because I think that's where real change can happen.
Yeah.
I'd love to do more of that here.
Yeah. Well, we can bring something in
Let's
here.
Talk.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh,
Definitely.
Awesome.
I think we should go now.
What time do you how
I
long
think
have
we're
we
supposed to
been
be
at
done.
this? It feels like 10 minutes.
It's an hour and a half.
Are we already?
We're an hour and a half in.
So this is my longest interview ever.
Longest interview ever.
So it must be the best.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
checking that box.
Yeah,
for me.
more is better.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah,
And,
more is always better.
Well, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for having me over to the
Always,
Organifi
my
office. I enjoyed dancing with you this morning.
Wasn't that fun?
And,
Even though you kicked my ass. Way to rub it in. Again.
Well, I mean, dancing's not supposed to be a competition. It's supposed to be fun.
Ooh. You know how because I'm building a beehive. You know how they communicate with each other? By dancing. So next time I see you, dude, let's just start busting out. Okay.
All right. There's a.
And I'm gonna challenge you again at DDR.
All right.
How good was that? How good was
the pre-podcast?
Yeah.
That's a pre-podcast ritual.
It was insane.
Yeah. I wish I could just have that shipped wherever I go.
Yeah, just travel with you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You get done, go out in the parking lot, DDR.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me today. Where can people find? You got your book?
So UBU.
They need to buy the book
on Amazon. They can get it there. And
UBU.
Then UBU.
By Drew Canole.
By Drew Canole. Yep. Permission granted. UBU. And then Organifi.com with an I. And I believe your friends and family get a little discount as well, right?
Shrugged.
Yeah.
Organifi.com/shrugged. Save 20%.
You got 20% off. Steve, we need to reevaluate that.
Quick. Go get it ordered before they chop it.
Quick. Yeah, we loved having you in here, my man.
Yeah.
It's always fun, dude.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Cool. See you soon.